Now that you got your project settings and preferences set up, let's start designing the character. In this section, I'm going to show you how to use Moho's drawing and navigation tools as we draw our character. The first thing we're going to do is import the color palette for the character that we'll be drawing. Next thing we need to do is select the image of the character that we will be drawing. To get the character in the color palette, go up here to the top right and select the library icon. Once in the library, go down to Scenes and expand that folder. Then if you come down here to McCoy Buck, go ahead and expand that folder and expand the folder Orville. Inside the folder Orville, you're going to see the full Moho scene for the completed animation. But if I go to this images folder here and I expand that, I have the Orville PNG, the Orville character model, so you can see the breakdown of the whole character. And I also have the Orville color palette. Go ahead and select the Orville.png and right click and add to the current document. Then add the Orville color palette. So I'm also going to left click and then right click and add to the current document. Next, go ahead and hide the Orville color palette. Select the Orville.png. And then with your transform layer tool, go ahead and shrink down the character so that it's inside of the workspace area. Then go up to File, Preview, or Control R on your keyboard. Then select Save As, PNG, and save it to somewhere on your computer. Once that image has been saved, go ahead and delete it from your Layers panel. Then come up here to View, select Tracing Image or Control Y, and select the image that you just saved. Now you will have a semi-transparent tracing image in order to make the character design much easier to trace. Then go ahead and bring back your Orville color palette. Now a tracing image is not a layer as you see. You can see a color palette for the image that we imported, but there's not one for the tracing image. It's something that's built into Moho and that you can toggle on and off. If I come up here to View and I go to Show Tracing Image, you can see that the keyboard shortcut is Control U. I highly recommend using keyboard shortcuts as this will improve the efficiency of your workflow. So I'm going to hit Control U on my keyboard, and as you can see, it's going to toggle that tracing image off. So now with this layer selected, what I want to do is I want to move this style palette over to the side so it's not in the way. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to my transform layer tool, or M on the keyboard. And then I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to left click and drag this over to the side of the screen. Now, I also want to resize this so it's not so big. So I'm going to come over here to the corner part of these little nodes. And I'm just going to select this corner and I'm just going to shrink it down. And just bring that up in the corner there. Now, you probably saw me zoom in and zoom out. I am using the mouse wheel. Another keyboard shortcut that you can use is Shift and right click and drag left and right to get very, very smooth zoom in and zoom out. The mouse wheel zoom also works, but you're not going to get as fine of a zoom. So just use whichever one works best for you. Now I want to focus on the workspace as far as the navigation goes. So really quickly, this workspace right here, we have this little hand icon for the pan tool. And if I left click and I drag this anywhere here on screen, you can see that it's panning the screen. A quick shortcut for that one is just right click and drag on your mouse to pan. We already covered the zoom, but here it is on the workspace tool. This is the zoom tool, just to zoom in and out. So let's hop back over to this panel right here. This is called the layers panel. As you can see, there's a layer that's created by default. This will be created anytime that you start up Moho. There's always going to be at least one layer in the program, and that's the layer 1 right here as it starts out. And then as you can see there, we created an image layer. Now by default, you're going to have this layer 1 right here. This is a vector layer. If I come up here to this button, it lets me know that I can create a new layer. And as you can see, there's a ton of different layers that I can create. This one in particular is a vector layer. And if I come up here, you can see this little image right here. These are indicators to tell me what kind of layer it is. This image right here lets me know that this is an image layer. So think of a layer like a transparent sheet of paper. They can be stacked on top or behind one another, creating a background, midground, and a foreground. So this layer right here, it has nothing behind it. That's why if I just toggle that on and off, this is the visibility. Nothing changes because there's nothing in that layer. But right here, if I come over here to the image layer and I toggle that on and off, you can see that the visibility is changing as I'm clicking on that eye icon. Last but not least, go ahead and hit Control U to toggle your character back on so we can begin drawing. And that's it for this video. We just went over the navigation tools, how to import your image for the color palette and also for tracing. So just go ahead, get familiar with the tools, get familiar with the keyboard shortcuts, and we'll move into the next video. Want to learn how to take your drawings and bring them to life? If you want to learn more about character design and the Moho drawing tools, Be sure to check out my step-by-step online course that teaches you how to take your character designs from paper to animation. Want to take the course? Use promo code CHARACTER2019 and get the course 50% off. Link is in the description.